and welcome to VCT EMEA for the final day of week 3. 2 spots in the grand finals is up for grabs for next week, of course. And as the road to Bangkok continues here in the Riot Games arena, I'm your host Yingsu, and I'm joined by Billy once again. And Tom, you must have enjoyed it the last time you were here. Now you're back.
I think you just had the choice between who you had on the first day, which was me, and Mitch you had on the second day. And that's why I'm back for the third day.
Yeah. Well, I voted for Kakuka, but you know, we can't.
That wasn't an option.
All.
You had a choice between me and Mitch, and I won. That's how I'm taking this.
In fairness, yes, and I did vote for you, Tom. Out of those two, Billy, that's what we wanted.
We're all second to Kakuka.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Everyone is second to Kakuka. Even the teams that were knocked out yesterday, by the way, because we should talk about that, because it was a bit of a brutal day. Definitely, it seems like the lower bracket, Billy, every single day we have to go through it. We have to go through it.
Yes, and in saying that though, I mean, we got some 2-0 days. 2-0 days all of this week so far. So as much as I thought that the competition was going to start heating up, we were going to have more competitive matches, it seems to be kind of one and done maps so far.
Yeah, I think if you're a mate, you'd hate what happened yesterday. It was a bit of a rough showing, but it sets us up for one of our all-time matches, I guess you could say, in this region.
It does. What about the other match? You don't have a pun for that one? No?
One of them gets to have the L in their name, and the other one finally gets to be either BB Dub or T Dub.
Oh, okay. Oh, Tom, we need some more time to work on it. But yes, of course, as you guys can see on your screens, we have 2 more elimination matches coming your way. And the first one is one for the ages. We've seen this game so many times over and over again. But this time around, though, Billy, there are some new players in the mix. I'm glad they're running it back with this. Oh, I need Crashies and Kayak to hug as well, and Kron's just getting left out.
I feel like he's giving a Chad face though as he's walking by.
I love that we get to see these arrivals every time though. Like, I love it, and everyone looks so excited. It's game day, you know. But like you said, some new arrivals on both of these sides. Zeus on FUT, and then obviously Fnatic. We've been ranting and raving about their changes with Crashies and Kayak. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing these 2 come up against each other.
I am as well. But before we get into our game, I know you guys have some burning questions at home, such as who writes the script. And I can tell you right now, revealing it for the first time in VCT EMEA, that we have a wheel, and the wheel is indeed how the script is written. I am going to ask the wheel.
Well, it only works if it lands on Boaster for that.
Yeah, so this is like the best timeline. That's the timeline we want to be in. But I will ask a couple of questions. I know, Tom, you have a question, and Billy, you have a question as well. If you guys have a question at home you would like the wheel to answer for you, let me know within reason, because there's only so much the wheel can do
yes or no
to help you.
Preferably.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
Nothing about e-dating. We can't help you with that one. But I will start with my question, and I'm going to be very, very sadistic with this. Will we see 6 maps today? Because we haven't this week. We've just had 2 zeros all around. So are we going to be here until America starts? There we go. By the way, this is absolute truth. Whatever it lands on. No cap.
Okay, so it's definitely
6 map game, baby. Let's go. Okay, Tom, I believe you're up next. You can feel free to spin the wheel.
I'm looking forward. I want to know what happens further into the tournament, and I'm asking, will a Polish player make it to Bangkok?
Really specific.
Well, there's a few Polish players on different teams, so it basically just means, is one of the upper final teams going to lose? You're kidding me, right? So there we go. Heretics and Vitality, congratulations.
Oh, no. Oh, okay, there we go.
That's rough.
Billy, I'll spin for you. What's your question?
Yeah, thank you. I'm thinking more about the agent pool. Are we going to see a Clove or a Reyna before the end of Kickoff? We've seen teams switch up compositions.
Do you know what? I want more Phoenix as well.
No.
All right, let's see. I want to see more Phoenix, but I'm with you. I think Clove and Reyna at this point will be quite fun. Oh, you both got the same one. You both actually got the same one. Does anyone else have another question? I feel like do I have time to sneak in another one unless you guys have one?
Go for it.
You have another question? Okay. Will Tom wear Vigs? Because Milan and Elma are gonna wear Vigs. They told us they're gonna wear Vigs at some point.
We're
really
Can we get Tom Biz in a Vig at some point this year?
Oh, this year
I spun it really
almost
hard
guaranteed.
as well.
No cap. Of course, of course. You got the same as well. That's really weird.
We're going to get you a VIG.
It's rigged.
We're going to get you a VIG. But earlier today, Billy broke down some of what's been going with Fnatic and why they are looking so good right now. So take a look at this.
Hello everyone, I'm Billy and I'm an analyst here at VCT EMEA. Today I wanted to kick things off with a little VOD review session, and I wanted to specifically look at Fnatic's Abyss. Now, of course, the first time we seen them play BBL, this composition, we had a couple of question marks, but the second time against Gentlemates yesterday was a very much welcomed change. We got to see Chronicle jump back onto that Breach, we got to see Boaster jump onto that Astra, which we all know and love, and of course we got to see Alfie jump onto that Jet, which was a very much welcomed and nice surprise. But today I want to look at specifically round 7 Abyss against Gentlemates, and what I want to look at in this is the way in which they were approaching their attack. So to start things off, let's just have a quick look at the minimap. A lot of the time we will see this pack of 3 on A go towards the site, and what we usually have is Chronicle and Boaster both chilling. They're that kind of late flank kind of lurk positions, and then we'll see Chronicle go towards A to help the site execute. Now, what happens on A site here is they're just able to absolutely go crazy in on it with that double duelist. And of course, what we've seen a lot of the time is we will see Kayak and Alpha usually taking that backside control. However, in this round, Crashes gets that plant down, and he is the one that decides to go backside there with Kayak, just being able to help support him. And of course, Alpha, he's got that heaven control as well. So now they're in their sort of post-plant positions for this round. So as we continue to look into it, you see a quick retake reaction from Gentlemates. And what I want to point out here actually is this Yoru ult that's coming out from Mini and going into Kayak. I think that's really interesting. I think that there's a very quick reaction from Gentlemates. It's very clear what their protocols were in this round. I think also as well, if we just have a look at Robbie BK there, he's in that drone, he's clearing that heaven space, which forces Alpha away from it. But the most interesting thing for me about this Yoru ult, and this is a great individual moment from Kayak, is that he just decides to flash through it. He recognizes the timing of that Yoru ult. He's able to capitalize off of the back of it. He flashes into CT. He takes that 1v2, and it's no longer a 5v5 post plant anymore. It soon becomes a 5v3 post plant. So in my mind, that's really good initiative from Kayak, and he's been able to recognize what you should do as a follow-up off the back of that Yoru ult. So it was really, really nice for Kayak to be able to do that. But a couple of timing issues from Gentlemates as well, perhaps. A couple of timing issues. We see the Yoru ult go in and the players not being able to follow up off the back of it on CT. But I'm sure you're wondering, why does all of this matter, Billy? Why are we talking about this? And in my mind, it matters because Fnatic got away with going A 11 rounds in a row. Fnatic, they were just able to recognize and exploit Gentlemates' weaknesses. It was just great to see. And why did they get away with going A every round, I hear you ask? Why did they get away with that? Well, one of them is because they run a double dive composition. There were no sort of challenges or resistance in being able to get that spike down. And their win condition, from what I could see, was that in the post plant, they need to be able to keep that back site control. It was usually Alpha and Kayak being able to do that, and because they're the double duelist, you would expect them to be able to fight for that. And if they ever lost that back site control, Boaster then would just rotate back in, and at that point, they would have the Astra utility, the Breach utility, and the Sova utility all prepared and ready from main, which in my mind is chef's kiss for a post plant. But that's enough yapping from me. I'm really happy to have done this VOD review session. We actually do have Yinsu standing by with Yetijay and Mr. Fallen from FUT, so let's hear what they have to say.
We will hear what they have to say in just a moment. But for now, I think what's really important about looking back on their Abyss is FUT would have been watching that game 100%. They would have been coming up with ways to be able to counter it if they pick into this map today. It does feel like we moved on from Fnatic banning this map. They were banning this map before. And Billy, if you were FUT, what would you do? You know, watching them go A that many times, how do you counter that?
That's the thing. I think a lot of what we've seen from Gentlemates yesterday was just being way too passive aggressive on that A main in particular, right? We've seen the Yoru just TP out, leave Sova on their own to kind of deal with what they could deal with, but they had no sort of site anchor to kind of actually help with it.
Well, Billy teased it a little bit earlier. I got to chat with Mr. Fallen and Yusajay from FUT. Take a look at this. Fnatic will be taking on FUT today in the elimination match, and I'm now joined by Yusajay and Mr. Fallen. I wanted to get your opinion on a few things, and I thought it would be fun to do it through a game, of course. I'm going to read out some statements, and I want you to wave your flags if you think that what I'm saying is a red flag. Are you ready?
Yeah, of course.
All right, first one. Having a permaban in your map pool, do you consider that as a red flag? So just only banning one map and no others. Oh, you don't?
I guess it's no.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's not.
why not? Because you don't have a permaban. You just ban your opponent's best map, it feels like.
Yeah, well, last year we always banned our worst map, but I think this year it's going to be different. We're going to ban for if their best map pick right now, so it doesn't.
And also,
yeah.
if you don't have permanent, then you should work on every map. So it's sometimes people can think like, okay, let's permaban this map so we can like have more time to the other maps.
So it's like good and bad. Good
Yeah,
and
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depends.
A very nice and easy start. Second one is not having a Turkish player on your roster. So if you're building a roster and you don't include a Turkish player, is that a red flag? Yes, Mr. Fallen. Okay, you don't think it is, so why
I don't
not?
think like that. Well, I don't know. I guess
But there is
that's fine. Yeah.
You have to take one Turkish player at this
Yeah,
team.
you need at least one. Yeah.
Everyone is aim guy right now except me, so why not?
Yeah.
Okay. It says
Yeah?
right here.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
maybe like
Okay, yeah.
Imagine there was no A2G in your team, so.
Oh, exactly.
Oh, and
But-
Mr. Fallen, of course.
Yeah.
But you look at all of the other international rosters, you know, like Heretics, Fnatic, they all have at least one Turkish player, right?
Yes.
It's like a buff. I feel like it's a
Like a
buff.
buff, yeah, Turkish buff, yeah.
Yeah, Turkish buff. Next one is putting your duelist player on Tejo. Do you think that's a red flag? So instead
Yeah,
of
of
putting your
course it's fake.
IGL on
Of
Tejo,
course it's
okay,
fake.
since you played the Tejo, Mr. Fallen, why is that a red flag?
I think entry player just probably more focus on the aim. So in Tejo you have to just open your thing and molly everywhere and just stun.
Yeah, you also
it doesn't
have
matter.
to
Yeah,
support.
just, either support on entry, just only behind you people like 4 people have just covering you behind and every time just giving secret for your entry. So
Yeah, if you try something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, then it's just look like liquid on fracture.
Okay, so do you think maybe Fnatic putting Alpha Year on Tejo is a little bit of a red flag? Because he also plays duelist.
yeah, but they have already one duelist player in their team, so I think it doesn't
Yeah,
matter
that's
for
fine, I
Alpha
guess.
Jet probably.
Okay.
It's the shoots. It doesn't matter.
They average it, I guess.
So we'll never see Zeus on Tejo.
Probably never.
Probably never there.
I think that's a good thing. And your Tejo is so good too, Mr. Fallen. This one kind of aimed at Krax, I guess. Playing KO on every single map. Because Krax has played KO on every single map in his career. He's done it everywhere. But do you think it's a red flag if you do have KO on every single map? Of course, you guys don't think it is. You're the team that do it.
No,
We are thinking about that.
I was gonna raise it, but you know,
Okay.
last year we don't need how they said that. Last year tactics was always so easy to read, you know. With Kaio you can take any info, but meta always changing in this year too. So with Kaio you might do nothing with the Kaio.
Sometimes
You have only one knife and like 40 seconds you can't do nothing with your Kaio. You have to do only flash pick, but I don't know. It's always changing.
sometimes
so
you really need to play
sometimes
another
you play Kaio,
agent,
sometimes you don't have
100%.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
He is the best KO player.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
is
feel
so
like,
fast.
you know, whenever he's on the KO, it's a bit scary. And very
Definitely
quickly,
scary,
last question, not having the FUT bundle. Is that a red flag?
Of course. The double red, actually.
Double
Yeah,
red flag. I
double
don't think
it.
we
Go
need an
double it.
explanation for that. But
We
thank
can
you,
do.
thank you very much for joining me. Make sure you guys grab the FUT bundle,
Bundle,
of
yep.
course.
Yeah, of
And
course.
let's just bring these two and their teammates onto stage and set up this elimination match.
See you guys.
With me.
FUT versus Fnatic has been a staple head-to-head since the partnership era, and we have witnessed a lot of heartbreaks in the past when these two teams have played against each other. But you heard it there from the interview, Mr. Farland. They want to ban out their opponent's best map. And Billy, unless they know something that we don't know, but Split certainly doesn't seem like Fnatic's best map.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they were kind of teasing us a little bit there. I'm not entirely sure, but FUT actually choosing to select Into That Abyss after we got to see Fnatic run that double duelist composition yesterday is very interesting to me. And the fact that we get to see Fracture as well, I mean, no surprises Fnatic picking Into That one, but both of these teams have played Fracture. They both enjoy Fracture, so for me, my mind thinks they could go either way.
Finally, a team that hasn't given them both Haven and Fracture. I feel like every team is like, okay, Fnatic, you can have both Fracture and Haven. That Pearl is going to be very, very interesting as a third map. And Fnatic banned Bind once again. So there's a lot of like intricacies, details, surprises here too. But that Abyss, I think we have to kind of talk about the pros and cons of picking into this map the day after we see a team play it. Of course, FUT had that 1-day break. They didn't have to play yesterday. They were sitting at home. They were definitely watching that Fnatic game against Gentlemates. And I guess the pros would be, you know exactly what they do if they want to go A. You know exactly where Chronicle is stunned. You know exactly where Boaster is going to be hiding. I'm sure they would have seen the heat maps as well. But the cons is, Billy, they don't know anything else about Fnatic. They haven't seen Fnatic go to anything else, change up their strat at all. So how deep do you think Fnatic's strat but would even have to be for them to be able to actually beat a team like FUT here?
Well, it's not just that. We barely even got to see Fnatic's defense on that Abyss by the time it swapped sides as well. And I think a big thing for me is why on earth have FUT let Pearl become the decider? That was a map that was very strong for them. I thought that they would have picked Into That first instead of Abyss. But going back to your point about Fnatic, they're a team that play off of fundamentals. They play off of each other so well, so I think that could carry them through here. But the agent selects.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen FUT play Abyss at all. You know, the last time they did it was CNET on the roster, Zeus is coming in, picking up by Yoru, and Yutaje on the Vice.
Oh, it's nice, isn't it? It's very nice. I think for me, like, I want to see how much impact Zeus can get out of that Yoru. I think that's a really exciting prospect. We've only really seen him play it once on the Pearl, which of course is one of their strongest maps. So I want to see him doing some fun things down mid on the defense. I want to see him with an operator in his hands potentially. And I'm also looking forward to seeing how Krax and Mr. Fallen are going to be able to help support him.
Oh, 100%. And Krax going for the fade here instead of the KO, where, you know, you would normally expect him to go, is also interesting. But Fnatic will start on the attack. They went 12 rounds A yesterday here. You would think if they go to A, if they want to go to A at any point, FUT will be able to figure that out. I want to see them be able to give us better flanks. I want to see them to fight mid a bit more as well. And I want to see your casters for this match. It is Mitchman and Tombiz.
Thank you, Yinsu, Billy, and Tombiz. You're up here now. Quite a little escaping act you've been going for this week.
Busy boy.
You are indeed. Listen, a tale as old as time when it comes to Fnatic versus FUT, and true as it can be, it's going down yet again, Tom. But these teams, they looked a little different last time we saw them face off against each other. Any hot tips, any favorites from you coming into the server here in the lower bracket?
That's the thing. If you go off the last couple of results, I'd say Fnatic definitely looked better. Like their match yesterday, they make good adaptations. At the same time, FUT getting destroyed like that, I don't expect that to happen again. Like, I would be very surprised if the Vitality match was repeated, and the fact that they've switched up the map pool, even gone into a map where Fnatic looks strong, that makes me feel confident in this team. And by golly, they've done it. They're at the B site.
Not yet. They've started outside the B site, Tom. Perhaps it's 12 rounds B. Who knows what Fnatic have in store for us, as you're alluding to, yes. And as the desk touched on, 12 rounds on the A site. It was quite the consistent affair, but the spike is here. It's made it to B early on, as have Fnatic crossing the site now. But it will not last long on the site with Zeus around, Sheriff in hand, and he's ripped 2 heads clean off out of Captain. So he's in trouble. That's the pick right back. Chronicle, he's been putting up big numbers on this breach, and he's not looking to change the script anytime soon. Back to a 3v3. It's winnable for Fnatic, Tom, but they have lost a lot of HP.
That's the reason this guy's the #1 rated breach, and although his utility's good, his shots are better. The thing is, though, they're up against Zeus, looking to take over the round. He might just even start it with an ace! was that Fnatic wanted to get this man, and the first round he plays against them, he gets an ace!
He's giving them good reason to regret not picking him up. My goodness! An ace, and the tone is set for this map. We saw Fnatic go to the other side of the map. We saw them get on site, and there was a little bit of a hiccup. Chronicle, a player who's delivered, steps up yet again for the double, but it doesn't matter in the face of this brilliance. A young guy on the server, and the only kill for his team is on his side, 5-0. Second round, well, it won't be much from Fnatic. No surprises for those of you who watch a bit of Valorant. After you lose that pistol, there's not a whole lot to invest into, but they have gone for some sheriffs of their own.
I'm actually going to have a breakdown. Like, I know it's only round 2, but we didn't see them go to this half of the map the entirety of the game. The thing is, to talk just a little bit more about the compositions, I think breaking into what's there for FUT is going to be more difficult. Plenty of delay available, and that is the spike, by the way. That has been delivered over to the side of FUT, so you might have had some hopes for this round. I would say that they should be almost completely diminished because the defense can just rotate over. Zeus, by the way, he's got his ult online. Not that surprising, but he does have it.
It is really cool to see this utility usage that we're talking about. You've got mid under control. You've got A under control as well with the wall. That's why there's 4 players here, and look how easy they make it look. An in-zone flawless 4 FUT and a 2-0 start. But that was kind of an easy round. Their opponents didn't have much. There's always dangers. We've seen plenty of teams fall to those kind of buys, or at least have a dent in their economy afterwards. But after a flawless start, a 2-0 beginning, it's Fnatic purchasing up rifles and the chance for the fight back from FUT. Early on, though, early days, there's already an ultimate online coming into round 3 in the hands of Zeus. That's what a 6-0 start's going to get you.
Yeah, a chance for him to really cause some problems. Even going to chuck away the sniper to a teammate and go in with the rifle himself. And you can see it does look like Fnatic's stance is, okay, they've seen everything we've got on one side. Let's try and put pressure on the other side. Kayak has just gunned it all the way down mid, taking a lot of space for the team. And it does seem like pressure eventually is going to come in onto Yerege, but I'll be honest, it might be his first time playing this agent. I have a lot of faith.
Yeah, no doubt Amanda can put up numbers. See if that shift in utility to this side of the map reaps any reward for them. At least the kill in the wall that slows down reinforcements. It's cut them into a slower play that Kayak takes advantage of, creeping his way through the spawn. Good trades by Chronicle. Spike retrieved. The man advantage on the back of it. Still, though, blow for blow with the weaponry FUT have brought to bear in this round, it's not a terrible start.
Fnatic are clearly questioning where those remaining 2 are going to be. You'd have the expectation after finding that many kills over on the B side of the map that they will make this rotation in. The only worry here is what weaponry can be retrieved. Because like right now, you talk about this 2 versus 3 if the spike was down on the B side with not only having post plant available for Boaster, but also Chronicle alive in the late round, I'd be very confident. If maybe another gun goes into the hands of FUT and they get into an after plant retake over on A,
Spike planted.
I wouldn't say it's likely, but I feel like there's more possibilities than there were with him running in with the Spectre.
I'll give you that. Time, though, is going to be the issue for Fnatic. Even with this composition, they're playing on site. In a way, this may catch them off guard. If you're FUT walking back in, not just the utility, the star, the stun, but the rolling thunder you highlighted, Tom, this is a lot of utility that should be in main, and instead it's sitting on the site. Ada Captain caught off guard. Nice shot by Krax, and he tries for the adjustment, but nothing will stop Chronicle on a tear. The 3-piece on the board, the first round for Fnatic secured.
Yeah, he's one of the few players that you get a positive rating out of when playing on this agent. And a lot of that stuff will be whether or not you're surviving or getting kills or whatever. But the thing is, he is just able to still put up numbers in these late round positions. That was the exact goal for Fnatic with this comp. It's Kayak and Alpha. They take the space, they fight aggressively, and then you have the 3 remaining in the post plant. The thing is, so far, Alpha has been quiet. And that makes this comp not work anywhere near as well. And while for FUT, they still have that ultimate online, now have 4 rifles coming up. This is where the game truly begins.
It is, and with Fnatic having the rolling thunder, Well, the battlefield seems fairly evenly set for now. FUT have their opportunities. Information with that ultimate is often going to be in play. The drone here seeks some info on middle, but it doesn't see anyone. And Fnatic wise that there may now be a small window for them to exploit. They make their way right down middle. I thought this could have been a contact eventually. They might shift it, but no, the Rolling Thunder's gone in. And so too have the players. Alpha already through the choke point. Boaster good for the trade at least. And it's a flurry of frags for the side of Fnatic. B has been overwhelmed. And the players on the other side of the map, Tom, with credits where they're at in a 2v4 facing them, they have a tough decision to make.
Yeah, well, I'm not even sure it's that tough. I think they have to hold on to the guns. Like, going into this, 2 players down. We know what the Fnatic post plant is like. They've also not had to use much utility because of how pacey it was through mid. You still have Chronicle with what will be everything online in just a moment's time. The stars already placed within the site. Like, how are you even planning on getting back into this without losing the round? And obviously you look at the finances, there's really nothing there for FUT. So this is round over. Fnatic, I'm already liking what I'm seeing. Like, you talk about the fact that you watched a team literally play this map yesterday, play 12 rounds on the attack, win 11 of them, all of them going towards the A site, and so far, the only time they've stepped in the A site was a rotation back after taking B. They are playing the opposite game to what they played yesterday.
God, this is a different look to say the least. Although I am pleased, Tom, that in one round we got to see 2 bomb sites, spike sites, however you want to refer to them, as opposed to in one entire half, seeing only one. It was a nice change. And talking of changes, FUT, they want to make some tweaks. That round didn't quite go according to plan. The Rolling Thunder used this aggressive middle take that actually came off the back of their drone. Fnatic sensing the gap, knowing they could get into position, and from there, it was a massacre. FUT need a solution. Not to that problem, because there's not going to be a Rolling Thunder for a while, but their economy is shaky.
I've just seen guys like wipe his hands. I'm like, so our plan initially was to stack A. Let's forget that. We now have to play the rest of the map. Obviously, they will have had other plans in place, but that's the thing. They've come in with quite an obscure comp. The only people who are playing anything even remotely similar in EMEA is Carmine Corp, who you've got Sadak as your IGL. He always plays fairly obscure stuff. One of the only players still sticking to Harbor, and that's the only difference. You have yourself a Sova instead of a Harbor, a solo smoke with extra initiation power. The thing is, though, I feel like we haven't seen a lot of that put into play. Like, I haven't looked at a lot of these rounds and gone, FUT know what they're doing. No, it's been these sort of more direct execution takes from Fnatic, but without information until they're going for the take. And that means we haven't seen early gambles, we haven't seen these rotations, and in that mid-round, you could see that it was uncomfortable for FUT.
Now, as we come back into things and the barrier's soon to go up, still that ult for Zeus. I don't see a shorty purchased up, though, so I'm not certain that it's going to be used, and if it is, it will just be for point of contact info. In a round like this with 2 rifles, though, you're going to have very limited ability to follow up on that information. So perhaps it is best saved for the future. The gate crash for the rotation, but these players are miles away. It's Yedege, the only one with a rifle on this side of the map. He's going to have to put up numbers. Does well to take Alpha, and the wall buys a bit more time. The smoke that they have to walk through, but they've caught an angle and taken him down. With Boaster and Chronicle both putting numbers up, the B site almost uncontested as players in the spawn have rotated in. The shock darts tickling a few players up, but for the most part, it's just one rifle that they're up against. It's an ult from Zeus, not likely to be thrown in unless major damage is found.
Already not going great. They do manage one, and Krax is still standing. Always a chance he could turn the round, but not in this case. This Kayak to come up with a double, and I have to say, I'm massively impressed with him over the last couple of matches. It was a case where I think we looked at this squad and go, oh, the Durka replacement's not really the Durka replacement, but I think in yesterday's game, you could argue he was up there. Now, of course, facing off against Zeus, who has had a very good start to the game. An ace in the pistol, you can't really write much more than that. I'm waiting to see what he has otherwise, because that ult's now been online. It's been online for 3 rounds in a row. We haven't seen any sort of set play around it. Have to expect that's coming.
You really do. Zeus certainly has a set play in mind. It was just a straight up aggression, but perhaps the mid-round is where they want to pad the gap of that information. Perhaps it's on the retake that we'll see Zeus activate the ultimate. It's certainly not the early round. And Well, oh, okay, it's going to be now. Just before the spike goes down, clearing the site, confirming there's players here. One snuck right underneath.
Spike's gone the other way.
The spike's out of here, yeah.
It's just a ruse. Like, they sent all of this in alongside the Cosmic Divide to try and open up the A site. Again, Yedager has been put under pressure, but he's done well. He's used those vines to delay as much as possible, and there's still the wall that they have to get past. Fnatic almost have to time this together, otherwise players are going to be trapped, and that has happened. Boaster left outside the site, and they can isolate these battles, leaving Crashies alone. And well, Boaster now with an operator, still with the spike. But they know that there's still potential of this being a B hit.
Even if Alpha was still on that B site, if he was still embedded deep, the chances of them getting the spike down, not looking too good. With an operator in play, not looking like it's worth the risk either. So, with 25 on the clock, and I think with closer to 40 on the clock, the save has been called by Fnatic. They'll pump brakes and wait, see a FUT push into them. And if anything, they probably hope that they won't. Although, you know, if you take a couple of FUT players down right now with where their economy's at, it would definitely be worthwhile putting that dent in the economy. That's why you see FUT sitting back and waiting patiently.
No, I also like the way that FUT are taking these gambles at the moment, because I think, like, you look at other potential solo site anchors, like a Cypher or a Killjoy, and although you can have aspects that delay for a few seconds, the Vice is very different. Like, the Vines mean that if he pops both of them, you're running through and taking a lot of damage. Okay, maybe Alpha can get over the top, or you could have the TP through as well. But then, if you go, you're trapped. Yep. There's no opportunity. So you could see what Fnatic were doing. They're like, okay, we all need to step over this wall at the same time. We know where it's going to be. And one player didn't. I think that might have been to plan. I think Boaster not running into the site as expected. Looks like, though, they might get an early battle outside this A site again.
Yeah, never seen this one from Fnatic, except for their entire last game. Looking at the A site, same sort of control. Boaster watching the B push up. He might go to cut rotations late, or likely playing the spawn around the post plant. This feels like they'll commit in. And with Kayak having the ultimate to clear the way, it could be a logical choice. The stun online for Chronicle. That ultimate could spot a player, the stun could go in, and oh, we've all seen what happens after that. For now, though, they definitely are biding their time, perhaps just waiting for that extra element of Alpha Year to come around.
I like this as well. If you look at some of the utility on the other side of the map, they have read that your ultimate is online because their Vice setup is passive. They are expecting to have to play retake, so they're on a retake setup over here on B, and then on A, they're playing more heavily aggressive so that they could potentially fight this one back. FUT are reading that ultimate is in place. It's just whether or not those two players can hold the line.
Kayak, well, he's not getting past that line, and Zeus has stepped in to help from above. Sure, they found their pick with the Hunter's Fury, but no access to site for now. Fnatic are left outside of A. At this point, 25 seconds. If they're going to go somewhere else, which it looks like they are, they'll need to be fast. They'll have Vice utility to contend against, and Vice just around the corner. Yedager even activates the Thorns just in time. 15 seconds. Why not? Put it down now. Smoke for Heaven at least going to be in play. But Boaster has to bide his time. He won't be helpful in getting this spike down. And in fact, it needs to be planted here and now. No time. If the spam works, it could be the end of the game. The end of the round at the very least. But out of Captain, punishing Boaster. Not caught out by the flank. A 3v2. The advantage is still there for FUT on the defense.
There's going to need to be a shot connected. See the defense already locking them into the site, but that's where they already were. Crashy's trying to get up close, but he's been spotted. Leaves him in no man's land. It's all left onto Chronicle. He's been fantastic with this breach operator. Not something I thought I'd say before, but can he win them the round? Two players still standing, watching his angle. He lands another. And in fact, he knows the player's not on the spike. He's got the aftershock to delay them completely. A 1v3 on a breach with an AWP, and sure, the final shot won't go his way, but it matters not for Chronicle.
At the end of the day, the Red Bull clutch is all they need. Live or die. The round falls to Fnatic, the lead with it. This was, I mean, for the start of the round that they had, Krax finding the pick that he did, the punish as well coming in onto Alpha Year, Zeus getting here just in time to defend from up above in Heaven. This looked perfect.
Oh, the setup from FUT was sublime. Like,
They read on the round, they look into the fact, okay, Kayak has his ult, we'll give up this space. If he pushes too far, he gets locked in with us, we kill him. We play passive with both initiators, so if anybody plays into the site, they get revealed by our utility. Setup was great. Then they lose a 1v3 to a breach with an operator. That, not so great. Not so, like, you could probably have played that one a little bit better, especially with the Cosmic Divide down and you killing the first aggressive play. That bit, not so great. You're up against Chronicle, it's going to happen sometimes.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, and I'm sure they realized it immediately, but after the first kill, player has an op, stick together, take the trade.
Yeah.
It's an easy game, but in the moment, you get a little distracted. Eye not on the prize, and that's the cost you pay. Fnatic, interestingly, are the ones calling this timeout. Keep in mind, this is the team that won 4 of the last 5 rounds, so if that's not proactivity from the coaching staff, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I think it's more just, firstly, you might need to calm the team down after Chronicle does that. I know, I was excited. But also, that was a round you shouldn't have won.
The
So why shouldn't you have won it? What went wrong? What read did they have? How can you beat that? And I think even going forward into this round, I think they've had some struggles with Yedajay's utility. I think although you might not see him at the top of the board, it's been irritating. So it might just be something that they can look to adapt. Already, though, the hunt for information is there from the defense. They have pushed up fairly aggressively over on that A site. That means they've able to at least double up a player or two, or even just rotate one over.
Well, FUT have sent 2 players extra to the B site. We're going to have a 4-man stack up. By the looks of it, Fnatic are running right into it. Now, there is a late play around middle, and Crashies is playing his boaster role, sitting inside of the spawn, watching for those flanks to come through. Again, the utility that's in play for them, it is very much you have to assign a player to be that trap wire.
I like how Yedajay just decides to pop that flash just to give a semblance that someone could be there. He was nowhere near in the utility. Drone's gone through as well on A, so now they're selling a ruse of their own. The problem is they've not won the first fight. And Zeus finding the kill. Now the wraparound from Alpha takes some extra space. Those players are both isolated on the same angle.
And very worried about Alpha. He could be coming into heaven right now as well. They've got to make a move. They swing into heavy traffic. Stun goes in. Kayak right after it. The double is clean. And Alpha's had a slower start to this map, showing up. We saw it earlier on, his mid lurk. He was sneaking his way up the entire round, and the timing absolutely perfect. A large part of that being Yedajay. He pops his flash, and as a result, here's a drone coming his way. Of course, the assumption then is that there's some players there, and they want your sight. So the rotation is called. That means eyes are not on Alphayer as he walks through, and the needle very much thread. That's the 3rd kill for this man. I think that puts him up to 4 kills so far. And if you've just got Alphayer warmed up, confidence boosting around like that, 5-3 in the lead, well, we know Fnatic are a team that can snowball.
Trouble here has been mid. Like, there's been multiple rounds, be it an all-in take or just leaving someone behind. Even Boaster finding a kill with like 5 seconds left. And a lot of it comes down to the difference between the utility that you have. Like, Fnatic are going to have to be more proactive with their hold of mid. But a lot of teams might have a Cypher. So you can put a trip there. You don't have to actively watch it, whereas you can't do that with the Vines. They can delay, but they can't give you that same level of information.
Give and take, the pros and cons. There, the con most certainly highlighted. Straight away, the utility has been spotted and finally dealt with. The trade out of the drone for that. We'll see if it's worthwhile. Stunned, primed, and ready. Soon we'll see a gate crash go in. The drone already has. Alphayer, Blade Storm. He delivered in so many rounds when this Blade Storm was online. It's not active though. It's the rifle that he has in his hands. The effect, well, the same to start with. Yedajay manages to take one out with the classic. The weak weapons on foot, still putting up a bit of a fight. And Boaster, well,
he's back.
This is the biggest challenge he's had in Spawn so far. Usually players have their back turned. This time, they're pressuring him. And the battle in the Spawn taking place. Ring-a-ring-a Rosie. He's called for backup too. Kayak's here to help.
If he's done this for orb management, he is the smartest man in Valorant.
I love
If
him.
he's done it because he's just running away, maybe not so much. And the captain has decided, you know what, I've got my 1 orb, that's all I want. I'm going straight off the map. The thing is though, the kill on to Kayak, I believe, actually gave him the ult. And if the gun was retrieved by Boaster, which I think it was, that's absolutely fine.
A great trade. It is a great trade for him. And look, for Fnatic 6-3 in the lead. Now coming into this round, Kayak's ultimate online, Blade Storm for Alphayer as well. Whatever FUT discussed during Fnatic's last pause, here is the time to implement it. Zeus is coming into the round with an operator. Although he's in mid, so we're not expecting some crazy early aggression, but his gate crash for B Heaven could be pivotal if the hit was coming in there. But this is a different Fnatic than the other day. They've got more than a one-track mind to it. Sitting outside the A site is the Spike, but sitting outside B are two players, an Alpha with an operator of his own about to find its target. And its mark, actually. 33 HP left on Adicap, and that wall just saved his life.
One player goes back, the other goes forward. Fnatic baited some of the utility, but the vines are still in place, so you can see the proactive position. Zeus has now been posted up in mid. As said, that has been a problem for the side of FUT thus far. They have not been able to hold that ground. The captain's actually going up close. I guess the tagged up player playing a bit more of a risky angle. We'll see if it pays off, because I think he's going to be seen.
Yeah, fair to say that Kayak has a vague idea on where he's sitting. He's taking a big risk, though, with that swing. A mechanical mistake. Alphayer goes down. Both ults used. No effect. And the dangers avoided by individual brilliance by a man with 33 HP, destined for death at the start of the round. And although Destiny finally catches up with him, the advantage, tangible. Hunter's Fury has been used for, well, effect, to be honest. 12 seconds now. We ran all the way down to the final as Yedeje rounds that corner, but he won't be able to deny the plant. What he will do is take Chronicle down, take Boaster out of the equation, and leave Crashies to do it all. Well, Crashies is for Yedeje as well. Footer back on the board.
Yeah, nice round from him. Nice delay from FUT to be able to get them into position, and further proof that stuns are all but cosmetic, because when a guy with 30 HP is blinded and stunned and he still headshots you, like, this is the confidence you need to play this game. You could see all those visuals on your screen and you still believe you're going to hit the shot, but yeah, in the end, it came down to not only having a lack of information on the other side because of the fact you've been hit by that Nightfall, but just solid positioning and delay from the side of FUT. Now we wait and see if they can turn this into something a little bit more, because you have to bear in mind, as it was said on the desk, we barely seen the defensive side of this map for Fnatic. We don't know if it's going to hold up, and the comp looks like it will work better on attack. If this ends 6-6, I'd say FUT have done a good job.
Well, it remains to be seen. Still, those 2 rounds to be played for, and Fnatic, well, Kayak has found himself in quite an aggressive position, but they are very much wise to his shenanigans. They've heard him, and now they've most certainly seen him. Decoy even spotted, so it won't be fooling anybody. Sight hit, though, on B. Again, this passive setup from FUT, avoiding a lot of that utility bombardment. No ultimates for Fnatic, but post-plant now available will be Crashies on the Hunter's Fury. Although I see he's the one bringing the spike in.
That was info. I think that jump spot from Mr. Farlin has still caught that aggressive position. Space has been taken, but it does seem like FUT are more than happy to play the retake. They've got themselves the Steel Garden. Oh, they almost could have lost it, but also could have gained a kill. Nonetheless, for Fnatic, they've removed some of that util. It's just whether or not they can get into a more aggressive position. I am looking at Kayak, though. That lake flank could be everything, but you can see they are constantly checking for this.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago, really, that we saw the impact from Alphayer being able to run up on that flank. Now the ult activated. Kayak uses that as his trigger point to start stepping forward. B-site overwhelmed, and players being pushed back by utility. Now, this is a big danger. The defuse tapped, and who can stop it? Hunter's Fury is the first port of call for Fnatic. Already, though, the defuse has gone halfway, but the players, well, they fall. Oh, no, they've fallen all the way down. That's not quite what we wanted to see, and rest assured that round result would be the same regardless. The flank from Kayak and so on, but denying orbs?
He's denying the orb.
Yes, I mean, with how close his opponents are to those ultimates, it just makes sense, doesn't it, Tom?
Let's just look
just
over,
don't show
look
the
over
scoreboard.
Just ignore the fact that none of the ults are close. He fell off to deny orb. I won't hear any. We didn't need a replay. We just didn't need the replay.
I want the, this is the replay I wanted though. Okay.
He's not even phased.
He's not as upset.
Not even phased. Oh. Might be now. 7-4.
Oh, he's not got the Vandal now.
Yeah, Fnatic still with a chance of an 8-4 half. Still a strong attack side showing, but we will have to witness a little bit more of that defense. A very aggressive stack up from the defenders. That's 1-2 spotted. They both run away. Do they plan for the third?
Surely they do. Okay, well, I wasn't going to give Fnatic the credit for clearing the corner after seeing so many flee. Kayak is again in this position, but because of the aggressive A main spot, they're not quite there with the same level of info gathering. They don't know that he is wrapping up in heaven. It might not matter. Zeus tries to take matters into his own hands, playing quite aggressive indeed. Tucked in behind the box, Alpha comes around and a nasty surprise awaits him. Zeus now looking for a little bit more. Decoy sent out, faking the steps as heaven attempts to be reclaimed. Mr. Fallen loses his life for that though, as Kayak claims the kill himself and Crashy so desperately low, and Zeus quickly dispatches them. It's Chronicle and Boaster left in it, but the operator rings out. So does Zeus's weapon for another ace. He's dug them out of a deep, deep hole, and 7-5 at the half.
It took 2 aces for them to get 5 rounds. It really shows that this guy is on a different level in terms of the individual ability. But I'll be honest with you, Mitch, I think they're going to need a whole lot more if they're going to turn this round in half number 2.
Welcome back, folks. Half number 2 is about to kick off here. 7 rounds in the first half for Fnatic on their attack. But Tom, you had some questions about their defensive side. Now we're about to see that play out in front of our very eyes. Did how that half ended dissuade you at all? Or are you expecting 2 more aces coming in from Zeus?
It is insane. Like, that's the thing. There was a reason that this guy was a hot prospect, but having 2 aces in a singular half. I know that we talk about, I think it was Safe, who's been able to get 3 in a map, so he's potentially looking at an EMEA record. I'll have to wait and see.
Take flight.
Maybe they'll need it. They are still down by a couple of rounds. Pistol would be nice. And well, hey, he started it off strong.
Not again, surely. Let's see, Fnatic. Well, there's a bit of pressure put on Crashies. He is trapped in this corner, spotted and taken down, but he will eliminate Zeus for...
Worth it.
Yeah, perhaps. A 4v2 that they're left in. Remember, none of these players on foot found a kill in the last pistol, Tom, so that's because they were all taken away from them. Kayak and Boaster, all right. That's not a bad shot to start with. Yedajay's tagged down low. I wasn't expecting this to be that competitive, but there's still quite a chance for especially a player like Kayak. He needs the first clean, and he won't find it with a quick trade from Yedajay. 7-6, if you believe in the FUT comeback here on the attack side. Well, it's already underway, 1 away from their opponents.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how Yedajay makes this work. As I said, we haven't seen him play this agent. I also think on the attack side, it can be a little more dicey at times. Good post-plant utility, definitely. But you got to get there in the first place. And then almost the opposite side for Fnatic. Is it going to be like an old school split where you're just super aggressive, you're sending that double duelist in to try and take space away? Are we going to see just aggressive positioning with a get out of jail free card? Who knows? Or are they going to play more retakes and have that dive still available to them? That will be the question, because their attack wasn't, well, it wasn't really possible for it to be as strong as last time, but is that a necessity for them to win this map?
Oh, very patient play from the side of FUT as we've seen barriers go up, and Fnatic with very weak weapons. Again, we saw this in the last half, as expected. And FUT were trying to avoid any sneaky plays from their opponents. That gate crash, it's not spotted. Okay, so Kayak still unknown. They've cleared all their corners, they've played as a unit, they've played it slow, and finally they've dealt with Kayak. I thought that could have been a beautiful play from him. But FUT do well to shut it down.
It was still probably going to result in maybe one kill. He was only playing with a classic, but any damage that can be done will be nice. All moving as a unit. Althea crashes with some upgraded pistols, although that's quickly going to change hands for Chronicle. Doesn't seem to matter. This already starting to become quite costly. Retrieving those weapons is not going to be the easiest, especially if the spike goes off. So the question now becomes, do they have to try and kill the remaining members of Fnatic in order to retrieve some of that weaponry?
Time's ticking. Fnatic, no pressure's on the other side. If you could take a few down with the spike, you would. It's not an option in the end. And a clean run back through for FUT. Okay, 7-7.
Phantom got thrown off the map.
Oh, it did, yeah. They've not managed to save it. There's a Phantom in there, but they just bought it and sold it. Okay. That's not a bad bit of impact at all.
Yeah. I think they brought a lot less through into this round than they would have wanted to, and it's going to leave some serious vulnerability. So yeah, that extra kill or two is going to help out quite a bit. It means there's a couple of pistols online for this round, which for Fnatic captain, I'll be honest, really doesn't matter at all. And sometimes I genuinely wonder if he's better with pistols. What it looks like though is a very direct B hit. Yeah, Kayak's going to have the pressure on him immediately. Gate crash to get out, though, so if he can stick around, he can take a few more risks. Zeus, 10 HP. Kayak's already out of here. That's free damage, but converting on it will be different because he's still got a gun in his hands. Boaster will fall. Some of the utility now removed from Fnatic's retake. Weaker weapons in play for FUT, but if they can close distance and pick up that rifle, it'll be wonderful. Unfortunately, they're stuck on that site, kept back by the re-aggression from Fnatic. And now, with the weaker weapons in hand, they still, despite the even numbers, have an uphill battle on their hands. The main thing against Fnatic at this stage will be that time. It is a perfect start to give them the information. That leaves the remaining players with very little to play with. And while with already cracks dealt with, Yedajay, he kind of just has to die at this stage just to make sure that he's getting everything he can do. Get that extra orb, trying to deny them, and you know what? He takes one with him. It's a little bit of extra cost, but ultimately that ended up being quite easy for the side of Fnatic. It's still important to get those 2 or 3 kills in the rounds you'll lose, right? Just to keep that economy honest, and especially with the chance for Fnatic winning those first 2. You don't want to be, or with FUT winning the first 2, you don't want to be leaving the economy to run sky high. Now, what we've seen here, it doesn't scare me too much. The side of FUT didn't have a lot to battle with. It was one real rifle, a lot of pistols in there, a bulldog. I really love the use of the stun into the dart. Because obviously, if there's a dart, you're shooting it immediately. If you stun first, they can't shoot it, they were both revealed. A little hard. Nice combo. You saw it on the backside. Those positions. Nasty. Zeus, big player, already down. Yeah, positions last time were based on the weaker weapons. This time, FUT could be a little bit more aggressive in post plans, but let's see if we even get there. Zeus has been taken out of the game, and who will fill his boots? This is what I wanted to see more of. Yedajay on that lurk. Kayak's not getting over aggressive, realizing already we have that man advantage. We have Hunter's Fury for a retake if we get there. Doesn't need to be the hero necessarily in this round. But that double push-up of deep control is definitely the most interesting piece here for FUT. Can they make something of this? Isolating Boaster would put Kayak in a tough position. And it feels like they have to go towards B just based on where the spike is.
think the idea might be for Cracks to draw their eye, so they try to push him out of position and walk straight into Yedege. He can be the unknown factor, dodging the Hunter's Fury at least, so he won't be pinged up. And there's a real chance to drop Chronicle and open an avenue for late round work as well. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have doubted Chronicle on that one. He doesn't get over eager. He doesn't have a lapse in judgment, just holds his ground and delivers the shot when needed. FUT need to find another solution, and the aggression of Cracks seems to be it. He's up close to the smoke while his teammates fall back further while they set up for post plant. One away from a Hunter's Fury on Mr. Fallen. If he can grab a pick on the cross and bail out, it could be huge.
Out of charges.
Trading is the game though for Fnatic. All 5 players are going to try and take these fights together. Smoke going to be put onto the spike. Close range positions might not be expected. That one's easy for Cracks, but already tagged down to 30 HP. And again, and a captain left completely isolated. Needed a quick fight. And he's not going to be getting it. Ends up being quite easy for Fnatic in the end. Plenty of time left. 4 players surviving. And I want to go back to what you were saying. I think if there's any other player, there's a chance that Yedege gets that kill. But if there is a man who knows his angles, it is Chronicle. He's not giving you any spot where you can peek him and you have an advantage.
It's crazy because the longer you look at a player static like that, especially while there's utility and a hit coming in on the other side of the map, that player wants to rotate. They want to be there with their team, and most players are going to get a little itchy. They're going to take that step forward. All right, I'll start my rotation. And you get shot in the side of the head. Chronicle, he waits. He's like a statue.
I think he could sit there for like 2.5 hours and he'd still be like, this is the right
And immediately on the head as soon as he peeks. Reactions were impressive. Patience paid off. Fnatic 9-7 as a result. 3 ultimates for FUT. Weaker weapons across the board. They managed to put pressure on players up close. Alpha already having to give up some control of the site. They may, I mean, it's going to be late getting a plant because Mr. Fallen's actually the one with the spike, and as players overwhelm the site, in fact, they're isolated in 1-by-1 duels. Crashies drops 2. Alpha does the same, and this round is done. Fnatic double digits secured.
I'm quite surprised like, to actually commit the Hunter's Fury into that one. I guess just having a build-up of ultimate, so like, okay, we can throw one in just to try and make things costly. And to be fair, I don't know how much it did in damage, but it definitely gave little bits of extra space that Yedege was able to capitalize on. This is where the response needs to be had, though. Bear in mind, the next map is Fracture, where I'd say both teams are comfortable, but the fact that Fnatic are choosing that map still gives me faith that they'll be there to take it over the line. And with this choice now being there for FUT, bear in mind, they have won both pistols. So you're looking at this game going 10-7. Well, that's pretty close. In buy rounds, it's not been that close.
Yeah, you look at what Fracture, we got to see that yesterday up against Gentlemates. Fnatic lost the pistol, went 2-0 down, 13-6 in the end. It's not a map that they're weak on, that's for sure. FUT, they want to do the damage here. It's not too late, especially with ults coming online. It's not like Fnatic have 9K on every player. We can see an eco in the future. It does get easier. Those first couple steps, there's going to be quite a bit of resistance too. 3 rounds in between them, and the final timeout for FUT in regulation. We've seen 3 so far, this being the 3rd. Fnatic have 1 left. So it's very much a pacey conclusion to this map with not much more time to breathe once we get started again.
It is kind of insane to think winning both pistols, Zeus on 20 kills, and you're still 3 rounds behind. Like, if you look at the scoreboard from the top down, it almost feels like that doesn't make any sense, but
I mean, we can give 3 rounds to Zeus, a pistol of follow-up, and then the other ace that closed out the half. So almost half the rounds.
Operator in play. We've seen quite a lot of pressure put here from FUT as well. Already. Gatecrash put into play now. It will place him right next to Alfia, and he does take it, but was obviously in the ultimate.
Yeah, nice and safe. Heaven play, and 1 spotted stepping into the smoke. That's a big danger, deleted already. If Kayak had the element of surprise, it could have been disastrous. Zeus tries to TP in, and well, TP's out real quick. Out of the round, FUT a man down. Spike still to cross to site. Hopefully won't go for the deep dive down below into the abyss. The problem is Fnatic are already here, boots on the ground. Yedege in with a chance. I thought he was going to go through that smoke, but no, he sticks around.
They're still feeling like they need to make plays. That's the Steel Garden. They'll take away a fair amount of the weaponry, but the players rotating in are just going to defend. The main thing that's bought, though, is time. That clock is ticking. Baiting out some of that utility is going to be important, but the trade is immediate. Not giving a chance. Putting them now into a 3v5. Make that 4, as Mr. Farland's found one. Adacapta's position is hugely valuable. He's waiting on the edge. He manages to come out with 2, and that's round over. Chronicle not fancying that 1v3 once again. Those advanced positions gained by the ultimate are huge for FUT.
Yeah, you know, I was just thinking, watching that Steel Guard, like, it's got to be some of the highest impact that we've seen from it, because not of the ult itself, it didn't do that much other than pump the brakes.
Yep.
The time didn't play as big a factor as it does in so many rounds, but it's the reaction on the back of this. It's the fact that not only do we have that space taken by Yedege, but that you still see Adacaptan stick around up close. There's players further back drawing the eye, and he's able to drop one
up there.
It's not a common position, I'll tell you that. And when it comes to ability to escape, there's not really a lot that he can do, but he didn't need to escape. It was Fnatic that had to run for the hills, save a weapon over, and that's, again, part of the economy conversation. Their credits are now very low. Reinvestment in the next round, buying these big weapons, buying an op, certainly not going to be easy.
I've seen this one.
You want to make that impact with it here. Unfortunately, the shot is drawn out by the drone. The angle's given up. That's a risky game if Alpha kept stepping into that.
He is. He's going back for more. They've used the drone to force him back. And Mop. Alpheus falls for the ruse. The problem, though, is excluding pistols and second rounds, there have been no round streak together. They've all been in isolation. We've seen big plays from FUT. We've had individuals. But then everything has gone straight back to Fnatic.
This is a ludicrous play. This is something that Levin was doing a lot on BBL. The walk down, the ability to gate crash out is huge. And the fact that you're not against a Cypher, the only piece of utility they've got is to cover the other side of the map, so it's wide open. Kayak could even have gotten more if he waited. The whole team was on its way there. But that damage, Tom, that might be enough. Adacaptan's utility is key for this site take.
You can't move players, you can't stun them up, you can't have your smokes. Like, it's just going to have to be a dry hit in both. Oh, he's caught in his own utility though. Kayak still within the site. No ability to escape at this stage, has to stand and fight. And what was looking like a damning position now sits in a 3v3.
Very winnable indeed. Sidestepping the ult, but they were still caught by it. And Zeus, well, one of them was even a headshot, so not mattering so much. He takes advantage of the chaos. Alpha years left to pick up the pieces in a 1 versus 3. Looks like FUT are charting a course for a 10-9 scoreline. With the economy where it is for Fnatic, we could see things equalized without too much difficulty. What a recovery this has been. It's not over yet. Maybe Alpha can pull out the play. No, he can't. Too many players on the backside. And again, FUT in this position, grouping up. It's the right call. The firing squad prevails.
Again, like the way that this round started off, like he mentioned he could wait. If Adacaptan comes out, he's looking at him. That was the only problem. It was a weird way to do your util, but it was the way that he was doing it. But it's the walk up. Both it is the one sort of real downside of Astra. It's very easy to get caught up in your own utility. We've seen it from both of them in this round. And Kayak, we saw, because of that aggressive push, used both of his gate crashes, doesn't have one to escape. So even though he finds a kill, there is no way out of the round. That economy damage comes to fruition. An ultimate for Kayak in the form of the Dimensional Drift. One off a Rolling Thunder. But the weaponry is the main problem in this round.
It's a big problem indeed. And we've seen the Sheriff ace, but that was from Zeus. Someone of Fnatic wants to go play for play with him. I'm here to see it. For now, it doesn't look like that's likely. Nice shutdown onto Kayak, and there's big plays up towards top mid. Most of the one to be on the receiving end of this hit. Up close with the Sheriff, and he won't find anything. The jump peak proves a little too difficult for him to land. Now the B side's open, the plant should be secured, and even the rotations on the flank, well, they're known about, and one player's been stuck behind the wall, so they're also separated a little bit.
Oh, the captain, he's got to be careful. He might get caught in a very similar position, but I think he's just bypassed Alpha. He's actually going to go hunting, thinking about maybe getting that gun instead. Something a little bit extra. The thing is, though, that time has been ticking. It now comes down to, does Althea want damage, or does he want the gun? It's damage. It's damage.
Maybe even just wanted a gun for his teammate. You get that pick in an advanced position, it's an easy pickup. Crashies will find it hard to locate this weapon. I don't know why I thought Alpha was playing to get his teammate a weapon. No, he swings up into the window and looks for a fight.
He wanted damage.
He very much wanted damage. That was the name of the game.
They have the cash to buy in the next round anyway. So it's like, obviously having something a little bit extra for the future would be nice, but removing some of the weaponry, making it so that if you do win a round or two, you can get a buy. And more importantly for him, Bladestorm. Like, it's getting ever closer. Practice though. We're seeing that weaponry juggled over so Althea can have that operator again. And the ultimates definitely favor Fnatic. The rest still building up, but if FUT win this one, they're going to have potentially everything online for the last couple of rounds.
Bring them down.
Deploying drone.
1:30 on the clock, and I'm looking at Fnatic for an aggressive play. Nothing to come of it. A main, biggest spot they were looking to hold on to. It's been pushed back by a bit of utility. And we fired out a recon to see nobody is home. So Fnatic now know that at least the deeper reaches of A main are wide open. You start to think there'll be a rotation on the B side, but maybe they think they just dodged the arrow. They're going to find out pretty soon that's not the case. Heavy presence on the B side of the map. Wall to cover the walk up on A. We've seen this before. And Yedege to cover the mid push. The site itself has most of the attention, or the attention of everyone except Yedege.
Rolling Thunder, Hunter's Fury, dimensional drill. This combo normally guarantees you at least a kill, but in fact it's the attack one used first. Now the defensive one comes in, and that's Kayak who's gone down to it. Oh, that's as bad as that could have gone. Friendly fire on the side of Fnatic, and Mr. Fallen in the meantime has managed to dance between the utility and find the kills. Now that knife in the back from Yedege leaves just one man standing, and not for long. That was looking like the perfect setup of ultimates and utility for Fnatic, but then there was a blunder.
Yeah, that is a big blunder indeed. You know, you look at how FUT are using that Vice. It's so nice. Going towards that B site, 4 players pushing up. You get 4 members of FUT charging into your face.
He just came out of the ult.
Yeah, well, right before we switched, he was still in dimensional drift. So yeah, it had to be perfect timing essentially, or imperfect as you like. But Yedege,
I always knew that Crashies was still NA.
He's come to take him down from the inside. But this is the thing, man. You look at FUT, so they have buys. They've got a main push. They've got mid push with Yedege. That's one person dedicated to that angle. Everybody else moves in the other direction. Fnatic end up popping all of their ultimates, committing so much to that retake. You've got the info from the dimensional drift. You've got the Rolling Thunder to try to push them back, and you've got the Hunter's Fury to kill Kayak. So for FUT, just a perfect round. Nice and easy. They've got a game plan. Their opponent's game plan doesn't work, which is even better. And now, look what that round has done. You can see it on your screens here. The bottom right, those weapons, not as good as the bottom left. And that should tell you everything you need to know. Fnatic have called their last timeout. It's 11-10. The lead has slipped out of their hands with 4 consecutive rounds to their opponents. And after that last round, yeah, this is definitely the right time to touch base.
The scarier thing is the fact that they used 3 ults.
3 ults and the recovery.
3 ults. The only person killed by the ult was their own teammate. Yep. And they only got 1 kill in general. So you're looking at a Bladestorm and a Cosmic Divide as the only things that could come online, maybe even before the end of the game. Whereas pretty much everything else is still up for grabs, even potential of Steel Garden. Now, this is the one ult they do have, and they get it, but
38.
yeah, he's been dinked up through the wall.
That sucks. Of all the rounds,
I have seen a Finnish man with very low HP get a multi-frag on this map.
You're setting a high bar for Althea, Tom.
Yes, of course.
Setting quite a high bar. Let's see if he delivers.
Turkish jet.
Let's see if he can clear it. Damage has been done to Yedege to make it a little bit easier. Spike retrieved. That Vice wall used for the A main push now covers their own A main push. See who else is covering it.
Obscuring, blocking,
We're seeing
Vic,
his
lasting
perspective.
them.
Oh no!
It's always in you, Till. I don't think our captain's ever playing Astra again after this game.
It's gonna be so frustrating, man. Oh, the Bladestorm's done well to pick up the first, even with low HP. Your opponent doesn't have a weapon out. They'll find it hard to deal the damage. The Waldo is about to give away the info, the updraft instead, but Mr. Fallen was sat, ready, and waiting. Zeus up in an advanced position. No gate crash, though. He can't get out of here. He has to stick around, and then he will! A three-piece, and the round put to bed just like that. Fnatic with 30 health. Boaster alone. A reveal on mine for Mr. Fallen. Time against him, and a player sat up top. This one isn't going anywhere near Fnatic's favor, and with Yedege closing it out, it is 12-10. 2 chances for a team who's been trailing for most of this map to take the lead. 1-0 going into Fnatic's map pick.
I'll say as well, I think Yedege in the second half has been a god tier. Like, the amount of positions that he's found himself in just to remove all weaponry at the end of the round, or in this case, I believe he took away all their guns, but it was from a side position, so they still didn't know where he was coming from. He's just been, well, he's been an absolute rat, but in the best possible way. 12-10. What was a decent position, a streak of rounds, and Fnatic looking like they could have had this over the line. FUT have found themselves at the depths already. This B site does have a stack up of players, but none of them currently within the site.
Alpha's looking for the push. And he's found it, or they found him at least. Through the smoke, he tried to back up, but there was no way out. A 5v3 emerges. There's a late flank by Yedege. I don't think he was spotted by Crash. He's pixel perfect on the timing. Just shallow enough on the peak, and his kayak falls. The site itself still contested. The flank definitely coming through. Mr. Fallen's ran in just to try to end it before Yedege can pick up any more kills. It's an in-zone flawless to close out Abyss, and FUT look fired up coming into Fnatic's map pick of Fracture next.
Yeah, it has been proven to us as well that lightning can strike twice in the form of Zeus. It's whether or not they can take this in a 2-0 fashion. We'll be back with Magnum 2.
Red Bull gives you wings.